The chill of the night had seeped into my bones as I huddled closer to the flickering campfire. My friends Mike, Sarah, and Alex were nestled around the fire with me, their faces illuminated by its eerie glow. We had ventured deep into the heart of the wilderness for our annual camping trip. It was a night like any other, until it wasn't. The forest, once full of life and chirping crickets, had fallen eerily silent. The crackling fire was our only companion in the vast darkness that surrounded us. I stared into the black abyss beyond the fire's reach, my imagination running wild with the unknown horrors that could be lurking out there. "Should we tell ghost stories?" Sarah suggested, her voice quivering slightly. We all agreed, hoping that a tale of the supernatural would provide the distraction we needed from the unnerving silence. Alex, the group's self-proclaimed horror enthusiast, took the lead. "I've got one," he said, a wicked grin spreading across his face. "It's called the Abyssal Campfire." He began to weave a tale that sent shivers down our spines. It was about a group of friends who had ventured into the very woods we now sat in, seeking adventure and a thrill. They had set up camp near a strange ancient tree with gnarled branches that seemed to reach out like skeletal fingers. As Alex described it, the tree was rumored to be cursed, home to a malevolent spirit that hungered for the souls of those who dared to camp nearby. The friends had scoffed at the legend, believing it to be nothing more than a campfire tale, until strange things began happening. Shadows danced in the corner of their vision, and faint whispers filled the night air. A pervasive feeling of dread settled upon them, and they couldn't shake the sensation that they were being watched by unseen eyes. One by one, the friends disappeared into the night, their screams echoing through the darkness. When morning came, only one remained, driven to the brink of madness by the horrors he had witnessed. He claimed that the gnarled branches of the cursed tree had come to life, ensnaring his friends and dragging them into the abyss. We listened in rapt attention, our imaginations painting vivid pictures of the cursed tree and the horrors that lurked in the shadows. As Alex concluded his story, a chill ran down my spine and I couldn't help but glance nervously at the ancient trees surrounding our campsite. "That's just a story, right?" Mike asked, his voice shaky. Alex chuckled, but there was a hint of unease in his eyes. "Of course it's just a story. But you know how legends are born. There's always a kernel of truth buried deep within." With that unsettling thought, we decided to call it a night and retreated to our respective tents. The sound of zippers closing and sleeping bags rustling filled the air. But sleep remained elusive for me. I lay in my sleeping bag, my ears straining to catch any unusual sound. The forest seemed to have come alive with an eerie symphony of rustling leaves and distant whispers. I tried to dismiss it as my imagination playing tricks on me, but I couldn't escape the feeling that something was watching us, just beyond the reach of the campfire's glow. Suddenly, I heard a faint ghostly whisper that sent shivers down my spine.
Join us.
I held my breath, my heart pounding in my chest. I couldn't tell if I had imagined it or if someone had actually spoken. Cautiously, I unzipped my tent and peered outside. The campfire had dimmed, casting long, ominous shadows. The gnarled branches of a nearby tree seemed to writhe in the darkness, their movements unnatural and unsettling. My friends were still asleep in their tents, oblivious to the growing unease that had settled over the campsite. I whispered their names, trying to wake them, but they remained unresponsive. The forest felt alive with malevolence, and I realized with a sinking feeling that we were not alone. The curse of the Abyssal Campfire was not just a story, it was a nightmare come to life. As I watched in horror, the shadows coalesced into twisted, ghostly forms, and the gnarled branches of the cursed tree reached out like skeletal fingers. They encircled my friends' tents, slowly tightening their grip. I screamed, but no sound escaped my throat. Desperation overcame me as I fumbled for a flashlight, aiming its beam at the encroaching darkness. The twisted forms recoiled from the light, letting out agonized wails that pierced the night. With all the strength I could muster, I shone the light on the cursed tree, its branches thrashing violently. In that blinding light, I saw the specter of a man, twisted and contorted, emerging from the cursed tree. His eyes were hollow, and his mouth opened in a silent scream. With one final burst of effort, I directed the flashlight's beam at him and he let out an unearthly shriek before dissolving into mist and vanishing. The gnarled branches retreated, releasing their hold on my friend's tents. Gasping for breath, I rushed to wake them. They awoke, disoriented and terrified, but alive. We wasted no time in packing up our camp and fleeing the cursed woods, leaving behind the darkness and horrors that had plagued us that night. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, we looked back one last time, and the gnarled tree stood as a silent sentinel, a reminder of the malevolent force that had haunted us. The legend of the abyssal campfire had become a reality, and the memory of that night would forever haunt our dreams, a chilling reminder that some tales should never be told around a campfire.